when it comes to making a good impression, this school really hits the right note.
Again. Thank you, Mike.
And if pupils aren't impressed by the music facilities, then the Olympic-sized swimming pool soon makes a splash. With the look of a hotel or a shopping centre, this school feels like a commercial operation. And perhaps that's because, in return for the promise of a good education, parents here are paying fees of $20,000 a year or more. But private education in the Middle East isn't always like this. Here's another school run by the same company. The classrooms may be fuller, but it still prides itself on its academic results. It follows an Indian curriculum. And because private education can't afford to only be the preserve of the wealthy here, it's structured to be within people's reach. Pupils at this school only pay about $1,500 a year for their fees. That's well below the average in the country. So when they're only charging that much, how can a school like this make a profit? There's about 5,000 pupils, and the facilities are more basic. But the operator says this means it can charge far less and still make a profit without hitting educational standards.
There may be a greater provision of the physical infrastructure the further up you go within the models. The curriculum may be broader, so more subject choices. But in terms of the core aspiration, which is a good education, inculcating the right values in our young people, getting them to a good university, yeah, we've been doing that and doing that successfully for 52 years.
Expansion of the business has been mainly funded by the wealthy family which owns it and through loans. But with shares and property going through turbulent times, might investors give education in this region a closer look?
There's a real opportunity in the Middle East for investors to come in and provide education services for kids. You can think of countries with large populations, Egypt, Syria, Algeria, etc., where the returns are probably quite high because there are very large populations of young kids, all needing private sector or even public sector education, and there's a hole in the market.
Close to Dubai's financial centre, this school's one of 8 run by an investment fund. While priced towards the top of the market, they've been in business for 8 years and still haven't made a profit. And while expected, this has so far put many investors off.
There's a tremendous interest in investment in private education. Translating that interest into reality has always been a challenge. Most of the interest comes from private equity funds, venture capital funds, and the like. And they simply don't understand the metabolic rate of investment in education. They cannot wait the 8 to 10 to 12 years to see a return.
The Arab unrest has seen enrolment at some UAE schools jump by 10% as families relocate to safer parts of the region. And while set up for expats, there's also been a rise in the number of local Emiratis opting for private education. But at a time when the government is capping fee increases and high inflation means running costs are rising, there are concerns that some schools will cut corners to make more money.
There is temptation out there that you would somehow dumb down what you're offering. It's a natural thing, right? So if you have a policy of, say, 22 kids per class or 25, which is sort of the international accepted figures, it's very tempting to just put in a few more because it just improves your bottom line immediately at no extra cost.
As more investors get on board, it seems inevitable that schools will take on a greater business focus. But there are plenty here hoping education doesn't become driven purely by profit.